All right, welcome back to part two of my interview with Ryan Kurek. He's the CEO of Popsy Interactive, and we're going to get into some of the scenarios of how Popsy can be used. It is a very cool platform. I've seen it myself in a beta or early stage version, and I hear the next versions are going to be even more exciting. So Ryan, let's go through two scenarios in the time we have for this discussion. Let's talk about a baseball stadium scenario. So I go to see my New York Mets, and all of a sudden on the screen in center field it says it's time for a Popsy challenge sponsored by X. Take us through how that goes to me. I don't have Popsy on my phone at this point on my iPhone. How does it work?
Correct. Well, I'll take one step back, and the benefit for the stadium is that they can do. They only have a certain amount of inventory that they can already sell, whether it's billboard, program guides. They do some events and some signage that happens. Popsy again is another revenue stream. So let's say you're at a Mets game, and let's say you don't have Popsy on your phone at all. And Popsy becomes a new, pretty much revenue pipeline for the sales and marketing team for the New York Mets organization. So what they would do is in their program guides or on the back of cup holders behind each seat is it's very simple instructions on how to download Popsy. Basically, you call a number and it provides you a temporary password and you're instantly logged in. So you can start competing on Popsy challenges. So during the game, it could be at a point in which they choose. And again, they can do as many as 17 Popsies because there's 9 innings at most. 8.5 or 9.5 innings or 8.5 innings that take place, and you can start playing instantly, to where you can be notified via audio notification through the sound system or through the Jumbotron, which would say, Popsy Challenge now brought to you by X brand. Open your Popsy app to compete. And so whether you're already a Popsy member or you're one of 30, 40,000 people that showed up for the game, you can instantly start playing Popsy and earning points. So normal trivia questions that they ask during the game, what is the attendance, is it A, B, C, or D that they do in between innings, and all those different things that are interesting to the fans but don't create revenue are now sponsorable. So that gets them engaged, and finally they're rewarded for that participation.
I like the 8.5 innings scenario. That means the Mets are about to have just won the game. I like that.
Yeah. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, we're optimistic. We're optimistic forever. So let's talk about the Super Bowl now. So here's another scenario. I'm watching the Super Bowl with my friends and family. We got our chili, and we're hanging out at the house, and there's 20 of us around the TV watching the game. Take us through that scenario.
Well, the NFL is, if you think of the NFL Super Bowl event as a whole, it's an all-day event with 2-3 hours of pregame shows and then an hour of post-game shows. So Popsy events could be taking place as long as 9 hours long. And with Popsy being on the smartphone, you're having a Super Bowl party or you're watching at a sports bar. Now you're reaching demographics that other type of measurement companies that try to tell you what the viewership is or participation is. Our information is much more rich and real, so it captures all those Super Bowl, watchers,
right,
and their data as well, which you can't do at sports bars and you can't do at home, Super Bowl parties. So from pregame events, the Super Bowl on Fox, they will want to encourage people and do their self little promos, such as they do with some of their other different type of interactive activities, to get people to log on in the same way you would in the stadium. So during the pregame event, during the Super Bowl event, it could be, and let's just say it's the start of the game. The first Popsy challenge is who's going to score first, Team A or Team B, and by how much? Is, at the end of the first half, is it going to be 0-0, 2 points because you can have a safety, a field goal, 7, who's going to score, a touchdown first? Are they going to score 6 first? What is going to be the first score and how much? And that can happen during the game, which actually enhances it. And then the second component to that is, let's say it is sponsored by Company X. They can add a bonus question to the end of that, because if they know that their commercial is coming up right after the first time out, that we have a mechanism with our self-sync technology that if they click on the bonus button during the actual commercial, then that brand knows that that viewer actually sat through and watched their commercial, and they earn extra points. So now they know that they're getting those multiple touch points, those one-on-one touch points with the consumers through the Popsy challenge, but they also got to deliver the message that they wanted to accomplish through their television commercial.
Excellent. And the viewer is going to know that the more questions they answer, the more points they can get, right? So
exactly.
So they're going to be rewarded either on a regular basis or with a bonus level of points if those bonus questions are played. Do you have a scenario where someone could predict a bunch of findings, a bunch of things that might happen in the game ahead of time? Is that also a possibility, or would you rather have them do it during the game? Is that where it's the most fun?
We're gonna try to keep everything that happens during the game, because we don't want a bunch of users Googling every question. They're not gonna know the questions that are coming up until they pop up on your smartphone.
I got it.
So we're not going to do a lot of those scenarios where they will be able to have their laptop out and figure out the answer if it's a trivia question right away. That defeats the purpose of enhancing the event, and it doesn't do much for Popsy and our online rewards program.
Right.
So what we do is we try to interact with the consumer with real-time predictives that are very simple to set up for each event. It could be, is the next batter going to strike out, single, double, triple, sack, bunt, stuff like that that's predictive, but we know what we're going to ask right away.
Right.
And we can add some other things in there as well, like what was the final score of the last World Series game, which, of course, all these Popsies are timed, so they don't get much time whatsoever to, again, hop on their laptop and figure out the score. So,
right.
So we control that.
Interesting. And then also with all those questions, you could have, different houses or different groups of friends doing those Popsy Posse challenges. I could imagine two bars having a rivalry over the number of points that get generated, at the Super Bowl, as an example.
Correct. For instance, a couple chains, restaurant and sports chains that we're working with, each chain would have, or each location would have their own posse.
Right.
And they can compete. For instance, let's say it was Buffalo Wild Wings. All the Buffalo Wild Wings could compete against one another, all their locations, and Buffalo Wild Wings could create their own sort of reward programs for those that participated. Maybe it's a $10 coupon or a free appetizer, something like that. It's just another way to engage them without having to create that hardware or middleware that you see sometimes at bars right now.
Right.
That don't reward the individuals.
Right.
And
exactly.
Exactly. Yes.
Excellent. Well, I think, Ryan, we've run to the end of our time. This is a great discussion. I appreciate you sharing all the excitement that's going on over at Popsy Interactive. If you want to learn more about Popsy, you can go to popsyinteractive.com. He's Ryan Kurek, the CEO of Popsy. My name is Peter Propp. You can check me out at peterpropp.com or shore.com or 10minutestrategy.com. Thanks for attending, Ryan. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Peter. Take care.
Take care.